Hello everyone, let's take a look at the last video about Redux, which is talking about asynchronous action, basically related to a dependency called the Redux Thunk. Okay, it has others. I think the one it's been very long I use that is called Saga, is also for asynchronous action, but I use Redux Thunk for most of time, so I already forgot the other two. Okay, anyway, first let's take a look at a scenario. Suppose now when we order pizza, like let's say a customer, they want to order pizza, but not order immediately. It will order after or in 5 seconds. What should we do? Okay, so let's take a look at our code. Okay, here I'm going to have a middleware. My bad, sorry. See here, this one is -6, -6, which is 666. This one is a logger. Okay, then should be middleware. Then what's going to do is inside our code here, we have a dispatch. I'm not going to dispatch the update street. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to use create order pizza action. I want to order pizza. That's what we previously do, which is order pizza. And the second one, I don't want to the logger from Redux logger. It's because it's very long. I'm just using my own state. Okay. So here, I'm going to remove this logger from here, which apply middleware, this one here. Okay, remove first. And then I'm going to do is, okay, see here, let's take a look at our code. npm run build and npm start. Okay, so here you will see our pizza is being updated from 10 to 9. Okay, but now what's the problem? I don't want to order pizza immediately. I want to order in 5 seconds. What should we do? The simplest solution is what? Here I have a what? Set timeout. Okay, timeout for what? 5 seconds. Okay, let's do 3 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds too long. Okay, then here I'm going to dispatch the action, which is after 3 seconds, I'm going to dispatch a create order pizza action. Okay, so it's gonna be order pizza after 3 seconds. Let's take a look at clear, not a serious, clear. And npm run build. You can directly type tsc. Okay, and npm start. So this initial state. Oh, that's another problem, because this is asynchronous code and you have a subscribe here. Subscribe is going to happen before set timeout. So once we set timeout, once we execute the set timeout, this store dispatch is already unsubscribed. Okay, so I'll have to comment this unsubscribe. Clear. Let's do one more time. npm I have tsc. Okay, this is npm start. npm build, then npm start. Okay, so initial state, and after 3 seconds you will see updated state. See here, this is my initial, and after 3 seconds we see our updated state. The number of pizza is 9. So this is we achieved asynchronously, right? Which is after 3 seconds. So now, yes, the asynchronous action necessary from what we demoed? No, not necessary, because we can directly, suppose we are talking with React. We have React connected with our Redux. When I click a button, I want to after 5 seconds to dispatch or do some action, right? You can do in the onClick handler. Click event handler, right? It's not necessary to have asynchronous action. Okay, probably you don't know what is asynchronous action. Okay, asynchronous. Let's give an example. Here, we will say, oh, customer order pizza in 5 seconds. One scenario is the customer entered the restaurant. It was wait 5 seconds, the customer will check the timer. Okay, 5 seconds, I call waiter, I'm going to order my pizza. There's another scenario which a customer enter the restaurant. It will tell the waitress, okay, after 5 waitress, please, after 5 seconds, let me order the pizza. So the timer checking is based on the waitress. It's not your customer itself. That's the difference between them. Okay. So what is asynchronous action? Let's talk about it. In Redux, actions can be classified into synchronous and asynchronous based on how they are dispatched and how they handle side effects like API calls, timers, and other asynchronous operations. Synchronous action, what we have wrote so far, all are synchronous action. Synchronous action are what? It's a plain object, only contains a type and data. Data can be payload, okay? So synchronous actions are dispatched and handled immediately without any delays. Once an action is dispatched, the reducer process action immediately and the status update immediately. Okay. Synchronous action. What is synchronous action? It's a plain object. Okay, which can type and payload. What is asynchronous action? Like you have a fetch. Okay. Make a request to a server side. Okay. Which take time to complete. You have a timer, set timeout, set interval. These actions cannot be dispatched or immediately because they depend on completion of an asynchronous operation like a fetching, okay? It has to wait it to be fulfilled, okay, or success. And with a plain object, it's going to have a problem because here in asynchronous action, we have to perform some feature function like set timeout. Okay. In plain object, where can we write code for set timeout? We cannot. So asynchronous action must become a function because only function can perform asynchronous tasks like set timeout, fetch. Because in plain object, how can I make a fetch request, right? You cannot. Only function you can. So asynchronous action is a function. Okay. And you can perform some tasks for others like array, objects, value, strings, they cannot do. So only function. So one example of asynchronous action is this one. This is my asynchronous action, okay? And previously, our asynchronous action is an object, but now our asynchronous action is a function, okay? Now, this one we will talk about it later, okay? So now, what are we going to do? Because here, said, no, I don't want to wait here. Instead, I want the order pizza is similar, look like this way, which is dispatch what? Dispatch this entire set timeout. I want to dispatch everything, which is asynchronous action. Okay, I want to perform. This is part of my action being returned. So here we have to use asynchronous action. Create order pizza async action. Okay. Still, because this one is action creator, so it is what? It is a function. This function going to do what? This function cannot return an object. See here, this is return object, right? But here cannot return object. Instead have to return what? Instead have to return a function. Okay, so because you say, you want me return function, I just give you a function. Okay, is this one a function? Yes. Okay, this action creator is a function. Function will return another function because here this immediately synchronous action. It's a function. Function return what? Function return object. Here function need to return an action, another function. And here what's going to happen? Here is after 3 seconds. I'm going to do what? I'm going to dispatch. Okay, I'm going to dispatch it. Okay, so here it asks for store. So first let's import the store. We'll refactor later. Okay. Okay, after 3 seconds, we do what? We dispatch it. But now, okay, we already have action creators, right? Action creators. what we do before is, what do we do before? Store.dispatch. Dispatch what? Dispatch action. So we just make a call to create pizza or order pizza async action. But as you can see, it don't have error. If we don't have this async plain object, it works. But once we add async, it doesn't work. The reason is why? The reason is by default, Redux cannot handle asynchronous action, which means for this action creator, Redux can only handle when the return type is an object, cannot handle the return type is a function. So that's why we need to use Redux Thunk. Okay. What is Redux Thunk? It's a middleware for Redux for asynchronous action. It can handle asynchronous actions. Redux is primarily designed for handling synchronous action plain object, where an action triggers a state change immediately. However, in real-world applications, you often need to deal with asynchronous action like network request fetching data from API. That is where Redux Thunk comes. Okay, so you install Redux Thunk, then we apply middleware. That's what we do. See here, we apply Thunk. Okay, now let's see our code. First thing, we install it. See, clear. Okay, npm install Redux Thunk. Okay, after we install Redux Thunk, we have to apply middleware. So how to apply? Same as we did before. Suppose you want to apply logger and Thunk, you will do one by one, like a logger Thunk. That's what you do. Okay, you install, make sure you import a Thunk. Okay, I will organize my imports. What I do is, I like those are for my own or third party, and this is the third party or built-in, and this is my own. Okay, so my imports are also organized. So this is apply logger and Thunk. Apply middleware, and after you apply, you go to index. See here, no error anymore. So I'm going to do is a comment. I don't like the logger. Okay, you to make your logging very long. So I just remove this logger. Okay, and then no errors anymore. And make sure this one is being unsubscribed, commented. Okay, because it's asynchronous action. Now npm run build. Clear. npm start. Okay, after 3 seconds, you will see that what do you miss for a second? This this pin. It's not a street. Okay, it's the order pizza. See here, after 3 seconds, the pizza is being ordered successfully. Okay, so this is the Redux Thunk, but we can do some modification. Okay. See here, this one you have a store, it's not necessary, because when we use a Redux Thunk, here it will give us what? Here will give us a dispatch, and this dispatch type is dispatch. Okay, it will give you dispatch, so you don't need to import this thing. You don't need to import the store here, because in the returned, the asynchronous action, it will give you what? It will give you a dispatch. Okay, so you can modify here. Let's see. We can order twice. So let's see. npm run build. Clear. npm start. Okay. So here, this initial state. And when I dispatch one, it's gonna be -9, and dispatch second to be -1 again, to be 8. So this is the asynchronous action. Asynchronous action, you have to apply Redux Thunk, and asynchronous action, it is always return a function. And we can continue to modify the code here. See here, for this function, it only have one return statement. So since it only have one return step, we don't need to have this breadth. Okay, and we don't need to have this return, and we can connect them together. So it's going to be look like this way. That's a finalized, which is a function return another function, and this function here is the dispatch. It's the asynchronous action. The second part, okay, is the asynchronous action. Okay, let's go to the slide summarize. Okay, so here now we have what? We have the asynchronous action, you have dispatch, okay, and then in the store you make sure apply the thunk, and in the index what you can do is dispatch that action. Oh, we can here I make it a little bit more. You can also plus a delay time. Okay, so here you can also plus a delay time, which is inside here we have a delay, and the delay is a number, and here we will put it. We can put this delay for here, so it's changed. It can be like 1 second. It can be 3 seconds. Okay, depends how much you passed in. Okay, so still the same. One second have a first update, then the second one have to wait for 3 seconds. Okay, so this is the part, and now let's continue. The continue next one is what? Next one, we are going to write another scenario for asynchronous action, which is a fetch user from the server side. What we are going to do is first, we have a loading, which is when we start fetching the user. First, you will see a loading. Okay, if you will see a loading like not finished, and once everything successful, you will see users being displayed. And once if the fetch failed, we will see error. That's what we want to do. And the state I want to maintain is like this way. Const state equals has a loading false by default. Users by default is an array. Error is a comma, and like that way. So for the synchronous action, I want to have a fetch user request, which will change the loading to be true. Okay. And fetch user success. In this one, you will see loading is false, and users will contain the user list. Error is empty. And fetch user failed. In this case, we will see loading is false. Okay, user is empty, and error gonna contain the error. And for this one, you can use in fetch. You can also use what? You can also use axios. Okay. And the API we are going to send is what? The API we are going to send is going to be a JSON placeholder. This one will fetch all the users for us. Okay, so you can pause a little bit and try to implement by yourself. Okay, but now I'm going to go over the details. Okay. First, let me push this part in our in where CL clear. I'm going to rename it to be rename to be 7, and this one is a timeout asynchronous. Okay, then I'm going to create another. No, yes. Okay, it's going to then I'm going to create another folder called src, and I'm going to write everything from scratch, so it's not bothered by other code. Okay, and once we do probably just now, the one it includes is this one. It changed to be 7 timeout. Okay, so I should click no, so I'm changing to be src. We are going to write everything from scratch. My suggestion is what? First, you write the code without using what? Without using asynchronous action, because asynchronous action is not necessary. We can directly put the fetch everything from index. You got me? So I'm going to do here. First, let's create those files. Okay, we'll have constants.ts, and we'll have let's call user. Okay. ts, and we'll have another file, user reducer.ts, and we'll have a store.ts. We are going to have another index.ts. Okay, so let's do one by one. First thing, constants. How many types of action we have so far? For the synchronous one, have fetch user request, fetch user success, and fetch user failure. So I'm going to create those actions now. Okay, wait a minute for a second. I go to src, constant, export, constant, paste equals this one, fetch user request, same thing, export const, and I'm going to copy from here, which is this one, in Taiwan, success, and last one is a failure, right? And next one, export const, fetch user, no, my bad, not a search. Okay, this one is called a failure, 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 and copy this one, failure. And as we do for the create actions, we also have what? First, export const create fetch user request action. Okay, and here it depends what you want to do. Okay, here I'm going to my bad, I'm going to have a type is a fetch user request. Okay, then I just need to do what? I just need to make sure our loading is changed to be 4 or 2. Okay, so I don't need to have a payload. It's your choice. You can add a payload. Okay, create fetch users success action, and here we have to give what? We have to give users. We have to give, it's an array, that's our payload. So here we have let's create another file called types.ts. Okay, I will define an interface user gonna have id, let's see the browser. Okay, id is a number, name is a string. Okay, I just do id and name. Okay, id is a number, name is a string. Okay, then I'm going to export this one. So here we're going to have a type is user and array. Okay, so here we're going to have what? Here we are going to have a type is what? Type is fetch user success, and then we're going to have a payload. Payload is what? Payload is our users. You give me all the users. Okay, this is this one. Then last one we have what? Create fetch user failure action. You give me error message. Okay, error. Then it's a string type, our use string. Then here we give an object back, which type is a fetch user failure. Okay, fetch user failure have a payload. Payload is what? Payload is this error. Now I finish all my synchronous actions. Then I will do my reducer as we did before. Const reducer equals what? Reducer have a state and have action. Then we will give thing. So here we will have an initial state. Const initial state equals what? Equals have a loading. Loading is false by default, and we will have users. Use by default is empty array, and then we will have what's thing? We will have arrow. I will use empty, which is no error message. Here is initial state. I want to give a type of this one, so I'm going to do is here I'm going to give a type. Okay, loading is boolean, and boolean. And I have users is user array, and I have arrow is what? Arrow is a string. Okay, this is a type for the state. Okay, then for the action, I'm going to add an action type. Here going to have another problem, okay, which is related to type. And we'll have a payload, type. Type is what? Type is a string, and have a payload. Payload can be what? Payload is optional. See here, this one don't have payload, and the payload for these two, the type are different. But if I use a payload with specific, we're going to have problem. Okay, I will show you. So later on, I'm going to try to use any payload and string. Okay, yes, and then I'm going to give action type here. Okay, now I'm going to do a switch. Switch by what? Switch by action.type. And the if case is a fetch user request. Then I'm going to do what? Return state, and just make the loading to be what? Loading to be true. I'm loading now, okay? And the if case is a fetch user success. Okay, then I'm going to return what? Return state, and the loading to be what? Loading to be false, and also have what? Also have user to be what? To be action.payload. Okay, like this. And then I'm going to have a case. Case is fetch user failure. I'm going to have a return, which has you can just have loading. Loading is what? Loading is false, and have users is empty, and then have error is action.payload. Okay, let's see. So now I have my reducer finished. Then I'm going to export my reducer. I'm going to export default reducer. Okay, this is my user reducer again. Then the next step is to create a store. So here const store equals create store. Okay, and here I'm going to give reducer. Okay, from a user, because I'm only have one. So here you're gonna have error. The error is related to the type. See here, the type. So I don't want to fix it. Okay, it's been bothering me a lot. So here I'm going to use any. If I use any, there's no error anymore. Okay, just doesn't work. I tried many different ways, still couldn't make it work. So I just changed this one payload to be any. Sorry. Okay, so this one is store, and I'm going to export default store. I didn't see this kind of issues in TypeScript, in Redux Toolkit. Okay, store. Then last one is in the index.ts. We are going to do the same first. Console log. Okay, console.log. I will do is initial state. Initial state gonna do what? State dot get store dot get. Yeah, I have to import my store. Import store. Okay, and I will do store dot get state. And we will need to subscribe, which is store.subscribe. Subscribe, you give a function, okay, which is a callback function, console.log. I will do updated state, and I will do store.get state. Okay, and then I will see here. Now we have to make a request to what? To this URL, right? How to make a request? I'm going to use fetch. You can use axios, okay? I just use a fetch because I'm not sure if everyone know axios, but I assume everyone know fetch, okay? Then first it will give you response, okay? But this response won't contain the data. It will give you the only header. So you have to, I want to get a JSON. Then you do a then, and then this data will contain the array. Then we will do what? Here we will do dispatch what? I forgot one dispatch. Before we start, we have to dispatch store.dispatch what? Create fetch user request action, which is make loading to be true. And once the data fetched successfully, I'm going to do what? I'm going to dispatch what? Store dot dispatch what? Create fetch user success. Okay, and here we need to give data, which data is what? Data is entire the user returned. Then if they have errors, but this error going to have problem. Okay, error create. Eventually probably I have to give you guys show axios. Okay, dispatch what? Create user failure action. Okay, and you want to get error, I will give you error dot message. Okay, did it have anything here? Failure? Let me see my failure. Error string. I have error. Dispatch error. What is it? Create a user failure. No, I want to create a fetch user failure. Let me see. Okay, create fetch user failure action. Oops. Yeah. Then let's give a error dot message. Okay. So this is store dispatch gonna be change loading. If successful, I should get a data, right? Now let me see my tsconfig. I changed it. Okay. Let's do a test. npm run build. Okay, tsc. See clear. npm start. Oh, fetch. Oh, I'm not running in the browser, guys. I cannot do it. Okay, so unfortunately we have to install axios because this fetch have to be in the browser. I'm not running in the browser, so I install axios. See here, I install axios. Okay, I forgot about it. axios because I'm not connected with the React. Okay, so now you will do use axios dot get. Okay, import axios dot get. Then there's no need for this one. Okay, and here you have to give a response, and then here you have to use the response dot data because everything is in response dot data, not in response itself. Okay, now let's see. COS clear. npm start. Okay, see here, guys. We kind of like see first loading is true. Okay, you have error is user is empty, but now loading is false. Now you have all the users like one by one. Here, because eventually all the types is being get rid of, and when we give actions, we give everything, which is response.data. Okay, see here we give response.data. That's why here show everything to us. If you want, you can do what? You can do a map to be u to what's thing only to u dot id, and id is u dot id, and name is u dot name. Okay, and here we have to give a type. I don't want to give a type to match everything, so I use any. Okay, if you want to restrict not showing everything. Let me clear. I will do tsc npm start. Now you will see users. If a success, you only have 10. You want to see everything. You have to map by yourself because response data will give you everything from the server, which has this bunch. Okay, so this is this part. Okay, now we do a failure. Okay, suppose for this one I type something like this way, and hopefully it's going to fail. Can demo the case tsc. Oh, my bad. Oh, see here, loading is true. Then update state, loading become false, users and error, request with status code 404, because I don't have this type of the thing, okay? So this is the asynchronous, but this is not asynchronous action, because asynchronous action is not necessary. We are still using what? Synchronous actions. And our asynchronous code is all inside our testing. Suppose you are clicking an action, you do like this, okay? Now, if we want to have asynchronous action, yes, we can do. We can do is here, in our action, I'm going to do is export const create fetch user async s1c action, okay? And as we know, this action is going to be, this function need to return an function, which is here you can get what? Dispatch, okay? And dispatch, okay? And whatever we wrote in our index, this part, okay, we are no longer put it here. We are put it in our action, and we can get rid of this store because we are no longer dispatch. We are dispatch using SJS, so all the store return. And also we need to import axios. So in our index, we will import this axios, okay, this axios or cut, and put in our action, okay. Axios start like dispatch here, and get, and dispatch, okay. So now this is asynchronous action, because only this, in this action we have what? We have API fetch. So we have to apply Redux Thunk later on when we use store. You got me? Okay. Because this one, when we dispatch, you cannot dispatch successfully. See, let's take a look at. So here, after you got it, we just store and dispatch, create fetch user async action. See here? Now we have error. It's because what? Because our action, async, this one is not a plain object. This one is a function, and only async Redux Thunk can do it. So we change store here. We have to apply middleware. Apply what? Apply for Thunk. Why reducer have error? Yeah? It was not have error. This error belongs to this one. No error. And after I apply middleware Thunk, it has error. So it must be type, okay. So I'm going to have a tsconfig. Okay, I don't know how to fix types here. I don't know. Actually, I don't know why it's a type error. Okay, so here we finish everything. Let's do a test. Okay. Still go to integrated terminal. Okay, then we'll do tsc and npm start. As you can see, we still can fetch successfully. Okay, but now we are use this one is state initial state. Right? Why don't I have initial state? Did I have initial state? I have initial state. Hey, store radical state. That's why this one is weird. This one is weird. See here, I have initial state, right? But here give undefined. But the updated state is fine. Updated state, like a true or false error. Oh, this one is weird. See here, I have initial state, which is loading false errors. I'll take a look at it later. Okay, this is a success case, and now let me give my action, which have some errors. Okay, then index. Okay, then let's do one more time. I should have an error. Okay, now it have error. Okay, which you have anyway to give errors. Okay. Yeah. So that is our fetch user. Basically, you can do is first make your no asynchronous action, and for the fetch, dispatch, or use the synchronous action. Okay, this is our actions. Okay, actions, and then you create asynchronous action. In our asynchronous action, we still use what? We still use synchronous actions. See here, this one is called this synchronous action. This one is called this synchronous action. This one is called this synchronous action. Okay. That's it for this one. This one, I'll take a look at it later. Okay, it's not a big deal here, but I didn't pay attention to this one. Okay. Let's do a summary with our Redux. We finish all the things in Redux. In the Redux, as you learned so far, you see a lot of boilerplate code. Okay. Like for define actions, action types, and the reducers, and action creators, which is make it verbose and a cubesum. And we have to apply middlewares by ourselves, like a Redux logger, emmer, Redux Thunk. We have to do by ourselves. Redux do have a learning curve. Understand concept like a reducer action middleware be challenging, lead to a steeper learning curve compared to other state management solutions. But once you follow the videos one by one, after each video you practice by yourself, you will get to understand it easily. The important thing is you practice by yourself. Okay, and that's it. That's all the videos I'm going to talk about Redux. Next video I'm going to talk about Redux Toolkit. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.